The Red Fez, the unforgettable magic tricks. It's Tommy Cooper must-see TV now. A change to the Build episode. The programme on Spitting Image can be seen at the same time next week.
I mean, everybody does me, don't they? Everybody does me. They really do, everybody.
I went to the butcher. It's what you want. I said, lean back. Are you leather? Doctor said, I think I'm going to die. The doctor said, don't be stupid. You lived to your 80. The first time I'm 80 now. He said, here, I want to tell you.
I'm the only person who's nothing like me.
Right. You four, absolutely lovely. Super duper, you're all in. Sorry, dear, you won't do at all. Try the BBC.
He was and he remains one of the most impersonated celebrities ever. Even now, the bustling markets of Marrakesh are packed with British tourists, all performing the obligatory ritual of donning a fez and growling to puzzled Moroccan stallholders, "Thank you very much." But of course, no matter how brilliant those imitations are, they remain just that, because there'll only ever be one Tommy Cooper.
There's a man in a country lane with snow. He's in snow up to there. Up to there he is, like that. See? Snow like that. And a man walks up to him and he says, "Oh dear, just like that." He said, "Don't worry," he said, "you're in a bit of trouble. I'll get a shovel and get you out." And the man said, "Thank you very much." He's got a big one. He said, "I'm sitting on a horse." I was cleaning up the attic last week with the wife. Filthy, dirty, covered in cobwebs. But she's good to the kids. Så sagde jeg. Du så har jeg vojt igen. It's dark in there. And after the empty bag, I will produce a live duck.
Tommy Cooper's life was dedicated to laughter, that and his obsession with magic, which is why we are thrilled that the world-famous Magic Circle has opened its closely guarded doors to us tonight. My passion for comedy began with those Sunday lunchtime radio classics like The Goon Show, Round the Horn, The Navy Lark, and of course, Hancock's Half Hour. Those shows and the artists who ensured their success inspired a lifelong fascination with those who have the gift, the genius, to make others laugh. I was drawn to Tommy's comedy because, like life itself, it always appeared fallible. He looked constantly bewildered, confused, as though he'd wandered onto the wrong set. And like all good humor, his was a joyous escape from reality.
I'll put the cards in there, sir. Now this duck will take your chosen card from that pack. Now you may have seen a duck do that before, but be fair, what was your card, sir? No? Correct. No.
This is the Magic Circle's private theatre of illusion, and Tommy Cooper would have been delighted to have stood here, Touring the country, moving from theatre to theatre was his life. It gave him freedom, and he was never happier than with the boards under his feet and the helpless audience at his mercy. The stage was his natural home, which he could furnish with props and where the curtains were always open.
I backed a horse today, 20 to 1. Give me 20 past 4.
I can actually relate to Tommy's love of going on the stage, of actually working to a live audience. That's what I've done myself for the best part of 20 years.
He was so late coming in, he had a tiptoe back to the stable.
In those days, that's where your bread and butter was going on the green, working to a live audience. And I think that is where Tommy was most at his home, was actually working in front of it. There was no cameras interference, no director going, "No, can you stand over there? No, we need to get the lighting right. Tommy, we didn't see that shot. Can you do that again?" It didn't matter with Tommy. When he was live on the green in front of an audience, what you saw is what you got.
And the jockey kept hitting like that with a whip. Not like that, like that. Like that. And the horse said, "What are you doing that for?" There's nobody behind us.
Thomas Frederick Cooper was born in Caerphilly in Wales in 1922. He spent his childhood in Exeter, and on his 16th birthday, his aunt bought him a box of conjuring tricks. And the ingenious secrets revealed inside gave Tommy a passion for magic that would last a lifetime. These are some of the props he collected over the years. During the Second World War, he joined the army and auditioned for a forces show in Cairo. He quickly realized his comic strength lay in his physicality and in his unique, quirky delivery. Even with the flimsiest material, he could send an audience into hysterics.
I went to the doctor, he said to me, "Open your mouth," so I went like that. And he looked down, he said, "A little raw." So I went, "Ugh."
There was only one Tommy Cooper, and I think his fellow comedians appreciated that, because nobody could do what he did in the way that he did it.
I was walking up the other night and a man came out from a doorway. He said, "Have you seen a policeman around here?" I said, "No, he's a stickler."
I often tried to work it out, and I finally did work it out. It was a shared joke with the audience.
Yeah, I had a meal last night. I ordered everything in French to surprise everybody. It was a Chinese restaurant.
You know this is an awful joke. I know this is an awful joke, but I'm still going to tell you.
He's got one leg shorter than the other. He said, "What do you want to do, eat it or dance with it?"
There was absolutely no two sides to Tommy at all. He was, when you watch him on the telly, that's what you got. In the rehearsal room, in the canteen, up the corridor, on the road, getting out of a taxi, you got that all the time.
I said, "Have you got frog's legs?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "Well, hot with a kind of get me a cheese sandwich."
But what about the fairs? There are many stories about the origin of Tommy's iconic trademark. My understanding is that his on-stage irreverence towards regulation army uniform, a real crowd pleaser among the ranks, was literally topped off when he made an entrance wearing combat uniform and a fez he just pinched from the head of a passing waiter. He got howls of laughter.
Thank you very much. Is he laughing? Have a look at him.
I believe he started out as a straight magician and messed it up and realised that he could get better reaction from the audience than being a straight magician. There were a lot of straight magicians around, but not too many who were comedic.
One of Tommy's great assets was his apparent confusion. Was a magic trick going to work, or would it end up a total shambles? Sometimes even Tommy could barely conceal his childlike glee when a trick did work, after all.
Like that, you go, like that.
There are some schools of thinking saying that he exposed some of the tricks, but I don't think there was no exposure at all.
Spoon jar, spoon jar, jar, spoon, spoon. Stop! Stop! Well, pull it, pull it.
I have to say that I think Tommy was one of the greatest ambassadors of magic today and of the past. I should imagine the Magic Circle were grateful that he pushed magic as far as he did.
A solid one! Box, dice, box, box, dice, box.
Because of his lumbering body, nobody took him seriously. He was mad about magic. Everybody said, oh, he can't be a sleight of hand magician, his hands are too big, but he could hide a double-decker bus behind those hands.
Thank you!
Tommy was never built to be a sleight of hand expert, but his dedication to the world of magic was rewarded in 1966 with his induction to the Inner Magic Circle with Gold Star, the Circle's highest award.
God.
But what was it really like to work with such an instinctive, seemingly undisciplined loose cannon? And how did he cope with the constraints of television? Find out in just a moment.
Now, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to tap this top hat 3 times lightly. And I shall get the elephant from it.
After serving his time in the forces, Tommy Cooper began his show business in earnest, hauling his trunk of tricks and props around British theatres at a surprisingly breathless pace for such a huge man. By the mid-1960s, the hard work and dedication paid off. He had become an established, enormously successful live act and one of the most recognized faces on television.
Up here. Up here? Yes. Right? Just there like that. Oh, yes. Right? See? Now, don't forget now, come down any time you like, because I've got amazing reflexes. Now, if you could be so kind, just step into that bacon tin. Just hop in. Anytime you like. Just creep in there. Go ahead. Now, you can either pluck a duck or not. It all depends whether you like feathers in your gravy. By this time, when you come down, cough. Like that.
Yes?
See, I mean, you've got to give me a chance,
Oh,
haven't
of course, yes.
I mean, I've got amazing reflexes. But you've got to be fair, haven't you?
Yes.
Fair's fair.
Oh, yes. Yes, I do see that. Right.
Right?
Yes.
Then come down, see, and cough. Loud as possible. Like that.
I'm beginning to enjoy this.
Can you sing? And now, we come to the hardest part. Now look, this is for your own good. I want you to sneak up on me loudly. All right, are you ready? Okay.
It's a long
That's it.
way to
Surprise attack, surprise.
It's a long
Stern heavy.
way to
Aha! Where's he gone? I'll tell you what. How about wearing a blindfold and bang a big drum?
Without any shadow of doubt, the atmosphere in the studio was absolutely electric. From the crew standpoint, from the audience standpoint, from everybody involved in it, it was a real event.
And there was 2,000 milk bowls on the doorstep. And I said to the milkman, I said, I've been away on a holiday. He said, thank goodness for that, he said. He said, I was beginning to think you didn't like the stuff.
He made me laugh so much, but he was very hard to write for.
Large pinhead.
Little wobbly chops.
As a sketch comedian, he was terrible. He couldn't remember the cues for the other performers.
Reach, don't muck about me, kid. I'm just telling you now. Stop. Oh, sorry.
If you look at the clips, you'll see I'm actually enjoying myself enormously. He would deliberately do things differently, not to make me laugh, but to make the audience laugh.
What was the most difficult period of your life?
I got those happy feet. Happy feet. Pardon?
He would do things spontaneously in the studio that were wildly funny.
Look at that, look. Look! You can't do that! Up.
And then he would repeat it, which you don't do on television. If he turned his hat round in a funny way, got a laugh. He would do it again a few minutes later, just to get the same laugh. He hated rehearsing. We were supposed to be there at 10:30. He'd come in about 11:45 and say, I'll show you a trick.
And Tommy might not turn up for rehearsals. But then when he did turn up, all was forgiven.
Yes, I'll have that one.
Sir. What, that one?
Yes.
Not Fred.
He was such a proposition to work with because he didn't like reading. He wasn't a good man for a read-through, sitting around a table. He just wanted to be given the basic idea and then get on with it.
It's the wrong one. So here we have a man who frustrated and heaped a mountain of problems and all around him. But everyone who worked with Tommy Cooper came to the conclusion that he was worth it. Tommy was hugely respected by his fellow performers because he was in every way the comedian's comedian.
He did stuff to please himself. You could see in his eye, he did stuff that pleased him. He was a trailblazer of his day. And that's why he's known as the comic's comic, because nobody else, everybody would look at his gear and go, I would never have the bottle to do that. How has he got away with it?
He was an anarchist, a complete anarchist. I mean, I think he had the genius of recognising his own body, those huge feet. He's about 6'5", isn't he? And the awkwardness of him, and he was a very vulnerable fool. I mean, he was an idiot. I mean, he was a wonderful fool.
I bought one of the skin diving outfits. It was like a frogman suit. Bought the whole thing, you know, goggles, big flippers, tank on the back, and I had a photograph taken like that and like that.
He once said to me, I've no idea why I'm funny, but it's too late now.
And I went down to about 155 feet. It was lovely, very quiet. And I'm going along like that. I got the instructions here.
If you said, do it like that again, Tom, he'd say, what? What did I do?
And the feet are going like that. Not in the front, in the back. In the back.
This was not an analytical comedy performance. This was natural from day one.
And I'm humming to myself. Not loud, just...
And sometimes I don't even think he knew why he was getting the laughs. He just did it, and he thought, that's a laugh there, I'll have that.
And all of a sudden, I saw a man walking towards me. in a sports jacket, grey flannels. I thought that's unusual for a Thursday.
It was just joyful working with the man.
And I got right up to him, I took this pad out, and I wrote on it, "What are you doing down here?" Walking about in a sports jacket, grey flannels.
Probably one of the happiest few years of our writing career.
And he took this pad from me, and he wrote on there, "I'm drowning."
On the night of Sunday, the 15th of April, 1984, I was preparing to read the news at ITN when one of my colleagues rushed in to say that he'd just seen Tommy Cooper collapse on stage. It was during the broadcast of ITV's hugely popular Live from Her Majesty's variety show. For a time, we weren't quite sure whether it was another Tommy Cooper trick that hadn't quite worked. Very quickly, though, we realized the worst. And I had the sad task of reporting to shocked viewers that Tommy Cooper had given his final performance.
Just like that. Dude, my feet are killing me. They're like, every night when I'm lying in bed, they get me around the throat like that, trying to straighten. Is he laughing? Have a look. Not like that, like that. What a lovely audience. A sit and ovation.
Tommy Cooper's death shook the nation, because the public didn't just find him funny, they absolutely adored him. Tommy was unique. As anybody who saw him live will testify, he could reduce an audience to helpless hysteria with just a cough behind the curtain before he even walked on. Little wonder then that as recently as 2004, Tommy was voted the funniest Briton. Thanks to the archive at ITV, the legend lives on for future generations to enjoy.
This egg will vanish in front of your very eyes, and you won't have the slightest clue where it's gone. And yet, on the other hand, I've got 4 fingers and a thumb. Oh, dear. Look, vanish in front of your right eye. You haven't the slightest clue where it's gone, have you? Hey, where? Under my arm? No. Another one? No, look at that there. Look at that. This one? No, look at that. Hi, how's that?
That was a change to the advertised episode. The programme on Spitting Image can now be seen at the same time next week. And there's more memories of Tommy Cooper Sunday night on ITV1 at 5:45. Next tonight, it's the news with Frank Skinner at 11.